Hello, my name is Mason Pletney, and for my persuasive topic for this class, I have chosen protagonists. And specifically, I have chosen the stance of the best protagonists are those who are inherently selfish, which ultimately leads to a better story. For credibility for this statement, I have done research on multiple websites. I have used popular writing sites that have supported my statement, such as Myth Creatures and MythSense.com. And for my thesis statement, protagonists that are selfish in nature push the plot forward and help make a story better by introducing more layers, introducing more credibility into the statement, making it better, and generally making the story experience more enjoyable for the audience. These protagonists connect better to the audience because their decisions become more rationalized. The audience can get behind the decisions, which will ultimately lead to that said audience rooting for the character, and they will tune in to either whatever medium the protagonist is in, whether that be a book, games, movies of that nature, and hope that they can see them win. And so one of my points is a protagonist does always have to be a hero. A protagonist, by definition, is the center point of the story. We see a story through the protagonist's eyes. That is how we view stories. That does not mean they always have to be heroes. For example, Scarface was not a hero. He was a highly ranked drug lord, but he was a protagonist of the story. And the Scarface movies series franchise, it's one of the best franchises around, and he makes for a better story because he is a good character, but he is selfish because he wants more money and he wants to control all the drugs in his known region. And there are always examples of other people that aren't heroes but are the protagonists of a story. For example, Walter White from Breaking Bad, Saul Goodman from Better Call Saul. And then you have people that are teetering on the edge of a more anti-hero side. You have Batman, and then you have Punisher, you have Wolverine, you have people of those nature. No, they aren't heroes per se, but they are the protagonists of their said story. And then, like I said, talking to that point, morally great characters make for an interesting story. You get to see a different side of how a story can be told when they teeter between the edge of their own self-interest and the interests of people around them. So, with research from MythSense.com, it shows that to make a selfish character better, they have to have the reasonings for their actions explained and understandable. So, for example, like I said before, Walter White, the only reason he got into the drug game was for one, he was unhappy with his job as a science professor, even though he was a Nobel Prize winner, and also he had to pay for his cancer treatment, and he was going to lose the house. His wife didn't have a stable job, so he needed to sell drugs in order to pay for his lifestyle, and he also had a disabled son. He needed the money. So by that point, this audience was rooting for him because he had legit reasons for towing that morally gray line. Because yes, he was making the drugs, but he wasn't selling them per se. That was his character's. That was his the other protagonist's job. So the audience naturally rooted for Walter White, even though he was, in the sense of good or bad, the bad guy. And then, again, like I said, a more selfish protagonist just leads to a better audience connection. For example, Magneto, he is viewed as a selfish and antagonistic character because even though he is seen as a villain to the X-Men franchise, he is a protagonist because he does have his own series, he does have his own TV shows. He is, on canon, a lead character. But the reason people like Magneto is because his reasons are valid. In his world, he is a mutant. He is one of the most powerful mutants, and he's a mutant and he is a Holocaust survivor. So he has seen the worst of humanity killing people and murdering them, torturing them simply for being different. So Magneto's main purpose is to raise the mutant army up and move them away from the humans and stay away from them because they are dangerous. His reasons are valid, and they may be selfish according to the humans, but the thing about it is they are the ones that are attacking him. So his reasons are just more and more valid. And then that brings me to my conclusion. With the evidence I provided before, the best protagonists are those that have a self-absorbed attitude, that have a selfish nature about them. They don't always have to be good or evil. They can be either morally gray, like right in the middle, or they can teeter between the two ideologies. So thank you for listening to my speech, and thank you for the class this year.